Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along to The Secret to Creating Tourism Promotional Offers that Drive Business. Hopefully tonight what we're going to do is take you through lots and lots of top tips. We're going to give you some information that's going to help you create those offers and things like that. And the idea being is that we want you to walk away with some resources and a bit of an idea of what you want to do with your tourism offers after. We're going to kick off though first with the very lovely Mark McGran. He's Tourism Marketing Officer with Mid and East Antrim Borough Council. He's one of the people that you want to make friends with, obviously. And we'll go to questions when Mark's finished. So Mark, if you want to share your screen, it should take over from me.
Yeah, guys, I'm just going to minimize the video here. So I'm going to go off camera for a bit, just so they can read the full amount of my presentation. So just bear with me 2 seconds, please.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. So that...
Yeah.
Excellent.
So can everybody see that okay then? Yeah.
We can, yes, Mark.
Perfect. So as Tina said there, my name is Mark McGran and I'm the Tourism Marketing Officer then for the Mid and East Antrim Borough Council. So essentially I would be the one who does the day-to-day management of all the activity on social media, campaign-based activity, and then liaising with you guys, our stakeholders and our businesses. So I just want to kick off first of all with our tourism brand, which is shaped by sea and stone. So for those who aren't aware of it, that is essentially the tourism brand for the whole of the Mid and East Antrim area. So anything that falls under that is all the likes of the activities, the attractions, the experiences and the accommodation. So we have the Mid and East Antrim corporate brand, which is all the stuff that will relate to the ratepayer for information and for corporate information. But the Shape by Sea and Stone brand is very much to do with destination marketing. So that would really apply for you guys. So I was invited then to sort of talk about what we had been doing over the COVID lockdown. Obviously, it was a very difficult time, and I just want to say, first of all, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on to the meeting tonight, because I know it's been a tough few months for you guys, a really tough time for the industry. And here's hoping that with the support from Tina and from the council that we can set ourselves up into better times for the season kicking off in 2021. So going back to the activity then that we did over COVID, so council had set up a tourism recovery programme with the accommodation providers in the area, so the hotels, to get people in the way of rediscovering Mid and East Antrim. So I'll give you a bit of a background to it. So we had to change our marketing focus then, and instead of just concentrating on domestic, or instead of just the international and domestic, we had to concentrate on the domestic audience. So that would be the citizens within Mid and East Antrim, and then wider Northern Ireland, and when it was safe to do so, the Republic of Ireland as well. So this was a real opportunity for us to promote what's on the doorstep. And you know, as I'm sure you guys are aware, the stunning landscape and the coastline that we have in Mid and East Antrim, it's certainly next to none. So we really wanted to promote that to people who, you know, those people who would be going abroad for their holidays. Obviously, they weren't able to do so during the summertime. So we wanted to encourage people to come and stay with us in Mid and East Antrim in a safe way, you know. So this is an opportunity for us to increase the awareness of Mid and East Antrim, make it a go-to destination. And also for us, in order for us to measure this, we wanted to increase traffic to the website through a campaign-specific landing page. So that was on the Shape by Sea and Stone website /stay. And that was our main call to action for all their marketing activity. And that was so that we could track the success, as I said, of the campaign. So I'll go through the campaign creative first of all, and this is video led and there's some sound in it, so hopefully that you will be able to make it out okay. But what our real thinking is that we wanted to showcase all the landscape and the coastal areas that we had in the area. Our thoughts behind this was really that we didn't want people to be in confined spaces. A lot of our attractions were closed, but we still wanted to have people, we wanted to get footfall into the area. And the outdoor was obviously a perfect place for that to be, because, people are in the fresh air, the open doors. And also it was a good opportunity then to sort of interact then with the people who were doing like takeaway services, whether that be coffee, whether that be lunch, and take it with them on this. But for us, it was a really good opportunity for us to work with this rediscover message, so that, as I said, people could rediscover what was on their doorstep. So I'll start some of the videos here. They're not that long, but this creative was shared then on outdoor. So on digital screens in Belfast city centre, and it was also shared on social media with Instagram and on Facebook. So the first one is Coast. Oh, sorry, go back there. The next one is on forests. And then the last one was on mountains. So what you'll notice there is that a lot of the creative that we had there was no close-ups of faces, or no wide shots. What there was just close-ups of hands and feet. We really wanted to make it interactive so that people could sense themselves touching the area, becoming one with the area, that sense of smell, that sense of adventure. So we really wanted to play on that moving forward for the creative. And we think that it worked really well then for our social. We were able then as well to work with UTV on sponsoring the Ulster Giants. So for those who aren't aware, that's a programme working on the industry within Northern Ireland, the old heritage industry, and we were lucky that we had the Carrickfergus Castle was mentioned in there, and the Railway Museum as well. So we wanted to it was a really good opportunity for us to, again, working with the domestic market, then promote the Shape by Sea and Stone brand, but also then showcase what we have to see and do in the area. Now, I'm only going to show one of these, but we did have 5 of them, and they played during every break time over the 8 weeks with Joe Mahan. So.
Engineered by nature, shaped by Sea and Stone Mid and East Antrim, proud sponsors of Ulster Giants.
And that really worked well for us, especially that line there, engineered by nature, because the whole show was about engineering and manufacturing. And this was our way of saying that where we are in Mid-East Antrim, such a stunning area that the whole place has been engineered by nature, so to speak. So it worked really well for us, and we did find ourselves getting a lot of engagement on social media and increased traffic then on the website. So this is where it comes to working with the partnership, which I guess is really relevant then for you guys in terms of what you can do with us. So as I mentioned at the start, we worked really closely with a range of the hotels as part of the tourism recovery programme. So that included the likes of Londonderry Arms, Ballycally Castle, the Galgorm Resort, Adair Arms, and Macromorn and Larne. So what we sort of wanted to do was, again, working on that close-up feature, to know those tactile touches of the duvet, of the bed. The food and drink was such a high promotion, because another thing that was such great about our area is that the food and drink is next to none. We are literally farm to fork in our borough with the coast and the wide range of agriculture. So we really wanted to showcase that off as well. So I will go through the videos each one by one, and this is something that you guys could consider getting involved with us in the future. So this is one I would say just to keep an eye on. is with Ballygally Castle. Then finally with Galgorm Spa and Golf Resort. Now again, this activity then was shared on our social media channels, and the reason there's both logos in there, Shaped by Sandstone and Midden East Antrim, because we really wanted to target all audiences, from the domestic travellers that are in Northern Ireland, but also the rates pair, because we wanted them, again, to instill a little bit of civic pride, because what we found is that people who love where they're from, they're more than likely going to talk about it, they're going to be sharing it on social media, and that's what we really wanted to encourage. Also, you'll notice as well that everything in those videos, this seems to be about the experience, and that's what we really want to get across. You know, we didn't just want to talk about the Galgorm and that's it. We wanted to talk about the food and drink that you could get there, the spa experience that you could enjoy there, and then the content that worked with that, then the written content. It was all encouraging people then to be safe, and the message in them was very much tailored to that. But what we didn't want to do, we didn't want to put people off, in a sense. We understood that the guidelines were there and we had to adhere to those guidelines, but we didn't want to show people with masks on or, you know, pumping the hand sanitizer. We wanted to, you know, showcase this open landscape with the people there, and then the content, the written content, then that was able then to do the safety messaging for us in a way that wasn't patronizing to people, but also wouldn't put people off. And again, that seemed to really work with us. And you'll see there at the bottom that the call to action was shapedbysandstone.com/stay. And then on that landing page was all the accommodation experiences were on there as well. And that was a real big success for us, because that was a good way for us to see how well the campaign was performing, but also it was an opportunity then for us to add additional info as time went on. So as I said at the start, this is something then for you guys to start to think about. What things can you do that we might be able to work with? What experiences do you offer, or what attractions would you be able to give to us in order for us to promote on our social channels? So this one here is a GIF that we did on the social site as well. Again, it was shared on social media with the corporate page and on Shaped by Sandstone. And this really worked for the Eat Out to Help Out scheme that was in August there. Again, working with the trade, we were able then to push people to go to these eateries and the restaurants and the hotels then to really get a sense of what Midden East Antrim has to offer while availing of the Eat Out to Help Out scheme. So I really want to run through quickly the campaign results. Now this might be for people who aren't as maybe as savvy as when it comes to this sort of stuff, but it's really top line and it's really easy enough to understand. So the results then for us was increased the domestic awareness of Midden East Antrim, and that was due to this campaign. Working with the hotels, they gave us really good feedback and that they could see an impact, an increased sale with as a direct impact of this campaign, which is obviously really good because the hotels didn't have to pay for any of this information. This all came from council budget to help with COVID recovery. As well as increased sales, it was really good to get high levels of engagement then on the social media. So this was included through high volumes of video plays and increased interaction then on the website. And lastly, we were able to create a conversation around Midden East Antrim being a destination ready to be rediscovered in a safe way. You know, I do feel that this, again, as I said at the start, this was a really good opportunity for us, taking the positives out of COVID. This was a really good opportunity for us to work with the likes of the stakeholders in the area and the businesses to promote Midden East Antrim to the domestic rates pair, to the domestic audience, sorry, and the rates pair, so that it was so that we were able then to get that civic pride in there, get that pride in Northern Ireland that this is a really great place to live and a really great place to visit. And instead of going on an overseas holiday, which we're not able to do this year, why not just stay what is on our doorstep? So this might be a little bit hard to see, but this is the performance of some of the posts. So again, this is the type of stuff that we shared on social media. And as you can see there, we shared one for Glendara House. And you can see how many people it reached there, 6,000 people, and we had 44 reactions with that. Now, I know there's some people are, and this is probably a really good learning to take away from this. I think people, especially when they think of social media, they think the success of social media is just how many likes and comments they got. But, we're starting to become into like a real lazy generation, so as I can say that, working on the social media aspect of it. But not many people do the likes and shares anymore. They are more than likely going to click onto the call to action, which is the website, or click onto the post. And what you can see there is it got 261 clicks, but it reached 6,000 people, which is fantastic that it reached that many people. And then that helps us justify doing this type of stuff in the future. And it also then helps us with our future engagement as well. Likewise, you can see with the video, now the video wasn't shared on this presentation for the 8AR arms, but equally it reached over 2,000 people, and we had 137 engagements on that. And that's something that I really want you guys to take away from it when it comes to your social media activity. It's all about how many people you reach and the engagement on that. So whether that's clickers onto your website, which will then give you direct bookings for your experiences or your stays in your accommodation. So that's the sort of stuff that you want to concentrate on. Likes and comments are obviously a very good thing, but they're not the be all and end all, and I wouldn't want people to be too bogged down on that. Again, then just showing the results for the Eat Out to Help Out, we reached over 1,000 people on that, and we had 65 engagements. And again, that was really good for us because we were then able to tell how many people had engaged with us as part of the Eat Out to Help Out, and then avail of that service with the Eat Out to Help Out with the government scheme then. So as I just wanted to give you obviously a bit of what we've been doing with the trade over the last few months as part of COVID recovery. Moving on obviously into 21-22 season, we're hoping that it's going to be a lot better than what it was last year, but we do have a lot of work to get involved in order to make sure that it's going to be a success. We have a lot of work to do to try and get those numbers back up, to make sure that people see us as a safe destination for us to travel in. So our real concentration is still going to be domestic and ROI and GD when the numbers come down and when they're allowed to come and travel again. So hopefully with this vaccination and stuff that's coming out, hopefully that's going to be a help and a benefit to us. And I know a lot of people, especially Boris, has said that do it now and we'll be ready for spring. So that's sort of what we're hoping to get. This is where we're hoping to get to, but there's still a lot of work that needs done in the background because, especially with this campaign that we ran with there over the summer, Stormont and the executive had moved the goalposts a lot of the times in terms of dates. So we really had to work as quickly as possible because originally it was supposed to be July and then it changed to June. So that meant that we had to be really adaptable in terms of what we could do and how we could change it up as quickly as possible. So again, this for going forward, this is what you guys can do then to get involved with us. So the benefits of involvement, participation for the hospitality trade, it's a crucial part to all our marketing activity, whether it be on social media or campaign activity. It really helps sell the area and it obviously increases footfall. We can do what we can do with the council-owned attractions, but it's you guys who really help sell it for us. And that's in terms of your businesses, you guys yourselves, because we always get really good feedback from the people in Mid and East Antrim about how welcoming they are, how much they love the tourism, how helpful they are in terms of giving out tourism information. So that sort of stuff is crucial for us in our marketing activity. We need offers and we need business information. So if you have a specific offer that you want to share with us that we can share on our social channels, if you have some new business information, maybe you're going through a refurb, maybe you've got something unique that's with you, that's within your business, tell us about it and let's work together and get some involvement then for the marketing activity. So domestically, we make those aware of what's on their doorstep, and internationally, we're able to show what we can offer as part of the Causeway Coastal Route. We're in a very saturated market at the minute in terms of Northern Ireland, because everybody's wanting a bite of the cherry, and everybody's trying to get those visitors into the area. So we do sort of have to work really hard to push our unique selling points, and also cater to the hidden gems that visitors, which research shows that visitors are now after. I still do think that the domestic market is equally as important as the international, because domestic don't have to travel as far. They are more open and more keen to do more travelling within Northern Ireland and the Republic. But what we want to do is encourage them then to start to explore more, which is on the Causeway Coastal Route. That's not just the Giant Causeway, but things that they can do on the lead up to it, and working together with other local authorities such as Causeway Coast and Glens and Visit Derry. Which is what we've been doing in the past. But doing that, it's an opportunity for us then to promote the whole Causeway Coastal Route as a go-to destination. So hopefully you can see there in a couple of videos and stuff that we show on there, we have successfully worked with a lot of the businesses in Mid-East Antrim and getting really good feedback from them. They have noticed a positive impact on sales and also awareness of their business. And awareness is extremely important because it gives people then, if they see something on social and they can see, like for instance, if we say talk about Whitehead and you're able to go to the Bank House for a cup of coffee, with the new refurbished Blackhead path, you know, it's an opportunity for you to go to the Bank House, get a coffee, get a takeaway sandwich, and then walk up to the Blackhead's path. You know, it's an alternative to the Goblins, but it's fantastic. The views are fantastic, and it's really good then it's just something additional for us to add then to the experiences within Mid and East Antrim. So that's what I would do say, like, as we've worked very successfully with a lot of the businesses, so we'll do what we can in order to help you guys achieve your goals. And finally, this is a really good opportunity for free marketing. Council picks up the tab for all this sort of stuff. We may sometimes ask for additional cost if needs be, but for the majority of the time, it is all free. What we just ask is for commitment on your part. So if there is a day that we're going to go out filming and we really want to film your attraction, I understand that sometimes it can be a bit of inconvenience, especially if you have guests in, but just think of the bigger picture. Think of the type of audiences that we're showing this to. We're paying for a lot of the promotion on social media. We pay for a lot of the promotion on the website as well. So this is a really good opportunity for you guys to get involved in. And with all our marketing, anything that we create for council, which is your business is used in it, we will then pass that on to you guys in order for you then to use in your own marketing activity. So essentially what we need from you guys in order to make this a success is we want you to communicate with the tourism marketing team. So on any offers or activities that you plan on doing, and this may be able then to help us promote it as part of a campaign or on social media. Engage with us on social media as well. So if you're sharing anything, and I know a lot of you do a really good job on this, but if you are pushing something out, tag us in it, Shaped by Sea and Stone, or hashtag, or even drop us a direct message on either Instagram or Facebook. And I've noticed again, a lot of you guys are doing that, which is working really well with us. Mary Claire, who is, she's listening, but she's not actually on the call. She is fantastic at putting together a lot of engaging social media content, and we're able then to fit that in there, whether it be shared on stories, whether it be shared on our grid or on our Facebook activity. So that's something I would really say to do that, because again, it's free organic content for you guys, and whether it's something or not that we can maybe sponsor in order to help you guys get the footfall. What I would also say is that invest in really good photography and videography. See, in terms of engagement, guys, this is what people are really after. If they see a stunning photo or they see really, really good videography of what you guys can offer, the engagement just jumps up. This doesn't have to be expensive. I'm not saying that you need to hire a photographer. Everybody nowadays has really good smartphones, whether it be an iPhone or Samsung. And they have really good quality cameras on them. So even if you have staff who are good at taking photos, not to be biased at all, but young people, they're really good on them. They're really good on the cameras and on social nowadays. So they all like to think themselves as influencers. So they probably be your best bet. Don't be afraid to add in a few filters. Don't be afraid to do a little bit of editing on your photos. So many apps are out there, free as well, free of charge, which will really help invest yourselves in really good photography. Make it a bit more sexy and make it a wee bit more interactive then for potential people to stay with you or engage with you from a business point of view. So as I mentioned earlier on, 2021 and 22, there's going to be a massive focus on increasing footfall in Mid and East Antrim, just to make up for 2020. We suffered from it as well from a council point of view because we had to close the Gobbins for a few months there, obviously over the COVID time. So we had a lot of making up to do for when it reopened this September. And we've had a campaign out, and see the beauty of social media and having a real strong campaign on social media, it really does help because you're able to direct people to your website, and our bookings have increased week on week, and we're sitting at really good capacity from now until Christmas. So if you have any events, if you have any offers, or if you have big plans, please do tell us. We also might be able to give some advice or help you guys promote it in a way, whether that is with written content, whether that's with hashtags, or even whether that's putting you in direct lines with the tourist boards, because they're a stakeholder that we work really closely with, especially from their digital point of view. So, and also with a lot of stuff that they're doing with the Embrace the Giant Spirit. So that's the sort of stuff that I would say for you guys to do. So lastly, before I pass this back over to Tina and we start the questions rolling for this, the three main people to do the marketing side of things is Jason, who's the marketing manager, who I'm sure you're all aware of. His email address is there. I'm the tourism marketing officer, so I would probably be your go-to in terms of any activity or anything you guys want to get involved in. Mary Claire looks after our digital marketing, so she would be responsible for all the stuff that's on social, all the targeting, all the written content, and she's your girl to go to for all the anything that you want us to share or anything that you want some advice on. I'd also ask if you keep an eye on Shaped by Sandstone, if you follow it, if you hashtag it when you can, and then go onto our website as well. And obviously we've got Zoe Lindsay, who I'm sure you're all aware of as well. So Zoe works with the businesses a lot more direct than what we would in the marketing team. And Zoe's very good then at giving us insights into what you guys are up to. So if you feel comfortable with messaging Zoe, and then Zoe can then relay it to us, but keep that conversation going, keep in touch with us all, and hopefully together then we can start to promote the area, get past COVID, and then work towards a better season come 2021 and then onwards, and start to make Mid and East Antrim a go-to place for domestic, for ROI, and then hopefully in the long run international. So that's me. So thank you very much.
Probably a good place for me to start, and I'll just whiz through it very quickly, is just really why I'm the person presenting today. I'm a journalist of about 25 years. Yes, I am that old. I know I don't look it. I've been a corporate writer for over 15, and I'm a former business editor. Throughout my entire career, I've worked very closely with tourism businesses, whether in a journalistic capacity, as a copywriter, or as a PR publicist. So one of the things that I found during the training that I've been doing over the last 5 years is just really about pulling together real practical information. There's no point bringing to you all the theory and all the the wonderful different kind of theoretical things that you should potentially do. What I want to do is maybe just give you some very quick hints, very quick tips, things that you can fill in, things that you can just answer questions for, and hopefully by the end of it, and especially today, we'll get a little bit closer to getting lots and lots of those offers created. Because one thing I would say is when I was looking, for example, offers, there wasn't a lot of Mid and East Antrim ones to pick and choose from. There's a few businesses who have got it down to a T. The rest are really missing out on the opportunity. So please do, hopefully any questions at all, pop them in the chat, as I say, or we will take them at the end. My company's Excalibur Press. This is what we do for a living. We create stories, we help people publicize and raise awareness. But we also have a business blog called The Content Club. And on that blog, there are tons of free resources. So I would really encourage you to use those if you can. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pop in the chat just a link, and that link will take you to a Google Drive document that will allow you to see all of the different links that I'm going to put up today. So questions for the chat room. We asked earlier, you know, have you created some offers before? Have you submitted any offers to Council, Tourism NI or Tourism Ireland before? And if so, can you give us a little indication of the types of offers? We're going to be downloading the chat after this, so it's good for us to get a little bit of information from you guys. What we're going to cover, we already know we're here to work out how to create an engaging offer for the business that's going to resonate with both tourists and locals. We'll look at lots of top tips, you know, how to create those offers. And what we really want to determine is how do we do this without compromising that bottom line. That's going to be the main thing for me. I really want to drive that home today, that it's about creating value. It's about adding to what you already do rather than taking away. So what is a tourism offer? So for the last week, I've been annoying anyone that I can get my hands on, and because I wanted to get a sense of what people thought a tourism offer was. And these are some of the words that we were getting. We were getting cheap and expensive, heavily discounted, last minute, off season. Someone was old enough to tell me, you know, they even mentioned CFAX. You know, so what the idea that people have in their heads of what a tourism offer might be is really where we don't want to be, especially when we're creating such fantastic experiences and we're creating amazing products. So where we want to take this is, we want to take it to a place where the offers show that there's a limited time availability, that they show that these things are exclusive or bespoke. We want to show that it's upselling over and above what you currently offer, and that we're adding something new to the mix. Maybe we're partnering with other businesses, and it's an opportunity for us to test new ideas. So it's not about those kind of, you know, throw it on, Groupon and hope for the best. What we're trying to do is create a scenario where we're planning ahead and we can get to a place where your offers aren't, you know, they're not cutting that bottom line. It still can be good value, it still can be excellent value for the customers, but the idea is that we want to get it to that point where it's not just a case of cutting the price. You will see from some of the offers that we have pulled out that actually that is what people are doing at the moment. We want to kind of change that. So what should an offer be? It's an opportunity for you in the business to raise awareness of what you do by giving further value to potential customers. And again, we've said that without reducing that profit margin. I am going to labour that point 100 times tonight. It's something that we want it to be something really exciting that entices somebody to want to choose you over a competitor, and a way to set yourself apart from the competition. What I really want to drive home tonight as well is that the businesses in Mid and East Antrim are not your competitors. It's the other regions, it's the other council areas that are your competitors, because by working as an entire region of Mid and East Antrim to bring people into the region, you are helping to bolster the tourism and the movement of people around that. So really, when we're talking about competitors, yes, there will be your local competitors. There might be a coffee shop that does exactly the same as you. You can't deny that they are a competitor of sorts. But what I really want to look at is competitors as in people who are doing the same thing as you in another region that are pulling the tourists into their region. So we want to really ask, what's the objective here when you're creating that offer? What is it that you want to do? So what do you want the offer to do? Do you need it to bring more footfall? Do you need it to book more beds, bums on seats? Is it physical, tangible things like that? Is it that you need to fill the diary for, you know, in the future, for example? Maybe you want to secure February because February is a bit slow or something like that. Or do you need quick bookings to fill empty slots? Do you need quick bookings to get that turnaround in as quickly as possible? Or is it just about making what you currently have, that existing offer, a bit more attractive? It's maybe something seasonal, Christmas, Valentine's, Easter, all of that kind of thing. It's maybe just upselling. So it might be that you've added new features, you've added another service, there's things that you can do that's a bit extra. And for some people, creating the offers is not about actually having people book them. It's about building awareness of the brand and using that from a PR point of view. So really, before you even start thinking about your offer, you really want to ask, what has this offer got to do? What is the objective of the offer? There's a few things that it's worth noting. I think we may have Adrian on the call, big wave. So a few things to note about your tourism offers. When you're creating them, look at the previous feedback that you've received. Can you create an offer around maybe things that you did on the hop, because in the tourism industry we're quite agile. So we'll move with the times, we'll move with requests. If people come up with an idea, we'll go, yeah, we'll fix that and we'll make it happen. So are there things that you did in the hop, or are there gaps that you've identified that you could turn into offers? Maybe customers have pointed out that, you know, they were a bit bored because the weather was bad and there wasn't enough around to do, or they didn't know about the local area or something like that. Start asking your customers what they want to see, do, and experience when they come to you. Now, those customers might be coming to you to purchase a product, or they might be coming to you to stay over or to experience something or go on a walking tour or whatever that might be. But do start talking to your customers. Even consider surveying those people who have already visited you in the past. You won't believe how powerful it can be to get their language back. That language can really help, because things that you might do as you just do it because you've always done it and you don't really think about it, it barely gets into the marketing. They might see that as a really, really special thing that you do. And so by adding that to your offer, by adding those things that you take for granted or the things that are just automatic in your head, you can really start to build out a really cool offer. I wanted to show you early on examples of some offers that we found. And I've taken them from quite a long period of time. I tried to find some in Mid and East Antrim, but as you can see here, just move some stuff off my screen. One night B&B, the Ballymac Hotel, County Antrim, from £90 a room. They talk about it being a family-run 3-star hotel, say that it's in the hills of Belfast. They talk about stepping into that warm and welcoming reception, and they mention that their staff is experienced. Of course, they then go into some of the functional information. It's an overnight accommodation, it's breakfast. If you want to book, call here. It's available until. So it's not an awful lot of information that you need to pull together for these offers. Another one we have here is the Treehouse B&B, £70 per room per night. Free picnic with every overnight stay. I think that's quite unique. I haven't seen that before. I'm assuming that was as a result of COVID, and it can be taken away and enjoyed at one of the many beautiful locations nearby: the forest, the gardens, the farm. So suddenly you're getting this wonderful idea that, oh, it's a lovely place to stay. There's a wee picnic that we'll have, and we've got beautiful places to go. And then it tells you a little bit more about how you can go along the North Antrim coast, and you can go on up to the causeway, etc., etc. But it's about creating that idea of what people are going to get. Townland tours, it's a very simple one. It's a 1-hour walking tour in the historic Grace Hill Village, and it talks about it also makes clear what you can't do as well. Now, I would have probably, had I have been writing that, I would have preferred to actually say what you can do and leave what you can't do out. Maybe that is in the terms and conditions, but sometimes people do know their customers better than a copywriter at times. This one, 4-star hotel situated in the heart of the town. The rooms are sophisticated, etc., etc. So again, it's building that idea of what they are. Another one is Glenarm. And it's talking about their holiday pods. I think this came out very recently. Well, when I say recently, I mean this year. And they talk about it being a perfect rural getaway along the Causeway coastal route. One of the things that I would note is about Mid and East Antrim is that Mid and East Antrim is this perfect spot in Northern Ireland where you can like shoot off to other places. So it almost becomes the place that you can go in between. So if you can encourage people who are coming up from the south, they're maybe traveling up to the north coast, you can get them to stop off. People who are maybe coming from Belfast for the day and stuff like that. So it's about trying to work out what is going to make people stop with us. Again, another one for Galgorm Spa and Golf. It's a cottage escape. It's based on 2 people sharing. It gives you all that functional information, but it also tells you that it's a luxurious one-night stay in a beautiful, you know, cottage suite at the 4-star Galgorm. And again, this one's a 2-night winter dine and stay deal at the Curran Court. And again, it's just another stay. And if I click on, it's another stay. So what are we seeing here? What we're seeing here is that there is an absolute dearth of experience offers. And I promise you, I promise that I really did look for really good ones. And what I found was that the only people who are really taking advantage of the offers are hotels, B&Bs, food and drink, that kind of thing. There's no other experiences that are really getting into them and taking advantage. What that says to me is there's a massive gap in the market. When you think about the volume of people who are pulling through the Tourism Ireland, Discover NI, the Shaped by Sea and Stone website, Mid and East Antrim, when you realise how many people are going on to those sites to look for things to do, and you realise that no one else is doing real experiences, and it's just at the start of that kind of wave, and those offers aren't coming in, then really you've got something that you can capture. And by getting those already now, you've got this wonderful ability to be ahead of the curve. So when the season hits again, or when your season hits again, or when you're ready to take people into whatever it is that you do, you will be ahead of the game. Of course, when you're doing that, I think it's really important to align with the brands. It can be difficult to try and align with more than one brand, but thankfully, both the Shaped by Sea and Stone brand, which Mark has already gone over, and the Discover NI Embrace the Giant Spirit are quite similar. So if you look at the Mid and East Antrim Shaped by Sea and Stone, they're looking at fresh, authentic, friendly and good. And you'll see there that the language is, you know, authenticity, genuine, friendliness, warm, kind of just describes us. It describes people. And what's lovely about that is that you're going to be able to find really easy ways of tying in with that brand. And you'll see there that there's key messages and things like that, along with the values and the personality. In that document that I shared earlier, you will find the links for the Shaped by Sea and Stone website and also the brand toolkit. Don't forget, you can use that toolkit. You are part of Shaped by Sea and Stone. So it is worth taking a look and seeing how you can trade up on those brands. And then we've got the aligning to the Embrace the Giant Spirit brand. It's a rather new one in terms of tourism brands here in Northern Ireland, but it's all about the spirit of Northern Ireland. It's all about those big, beautiful, mythical, wonderful stories. And that's why they're talking about giant stories, giant spirit. You don't have to have this massive business, this, you know, huge, you know, thing going on. They're taught, what they mean is how people feel. It's about feeling the giant spirit. It's about getting involved with it. As you can see here, there's lots of information about what that means. So they're talking about the big-hearted spirit, our pioneering spirit, our legendary spirit, and our elemental spirit. So if you can find ways of tying in with those and with the Shaped by Sea and Stone ones, what you can actually do is create offers that fit exactly what they are looking for in their marketing. Again, I've shared those links to the website and to some of the resources. You'll find those in that document. Oh goodness, I've just clicked off. 1 second. And then, so moving into creating the offer, one of the things that I would say about when you're creating an offer, I would sit down and brainstorm it. One of the things that maybe very early on in my career I didn't really give an awful lot of time to was thinking and brainstorming and talking about things. I kind of just did it because I was always busy and my clients were busy. But I really value now the time, and I value my whiteboards. There's whiteboards all over this room. You don't need a whiteboard. Pen and a bit of paper will do, rightly. But definitely when you're creating your offer, start looking at what other people are doing and thinking about what can I do that's a bit different. I really want you to also think, what journey is my customer on? Every customer, no matter what industry that they are purchasing in, is on a customer journey. They'll start in that awareness stage, and in that awareness stage, they either don't know about you or they've possibly heard about you. So it's about capturing them and letting them know you exist. Then there's an interest. That's where you pick the interest and they go, this is something I might be interested. Then they move to consideration, and that's when they start to look at whether or not they're really truly interested in what you have. They go to the evaluation where they potentially look at your competitors, they make a purchase, and then they move through the rest of the customer journey. What you have to look at is, can you create offers for people at different stages of the customer journey? So for example, you might create an offer for people who have already, if you're a B&B, people who have already stayed with you. And that offer might only go out to your mailing list of former customers. You might have a completely separate offer that will go out to corporates, schools, or something like that. And then you might have a completely different offer for the locals, and you might have another offer for tourists coming in. So think about where those people are on your customer journey, and think about what offers you can create that's going to engage with them, because it moves them along. You want to be innovative as much as possible. So the more customer focused businesses are, the more successful the tourism experience and the offers will be. Visitors these days, they really want to get a sense of what Northern Ireland's all about. They want to walk away having had that wow factor moment. And really, let's be honest, they want to Instagram it. They want to brag about it. They want to tell people. And don't get caught into that it's only the young people who are wanting to Instagram and take photos and brag about there's still people who are scrolling through their phones, showing their holiday snaps. So think about how can you help feed that need? How can you help them think that they've uncovered these amazing gems, these, hidden things that no one else knew about? You want to give the customers what they want. So get the basics right. So make sure that that offer is going to satisfy those basic needs. So that's a quality product, the value, good customer service, connection with the area. All of that is kind of obvious, but then you want to go one step further. You want to exceed their expectations and think about then how that offer can start to create those really special memories for them. Innovation doesn't always need high levels of investment. I think that's really important, that when we talk about innovation and we talk about creation of new products and things like that, it's not about going and getting a whole big bag of cash and then, finding exciting things to spend it on. It's just about thinking differently. It's about talking to people. It's about working with other people. It's about, utilizing the resources you have at hand. You've got Mark, you've got Zoe, you've got lots of people in the council, for example, who are absolutely desperate to help you. That's what they want. That's what they're there for. So sometimes it can be those little simple things that can make that big, big impact on the visitors. And I think the best way to innovate is through collaboration. Embrace that tourism offer by collaborating with a complementary business. And then that's where we're going back to that discussion that it's not about your nearest business being your competitor, because sometimes they can be your greatest ally. So what are the key selling points of the local area and how can you tie in with them? And already we've had some conversation about that, about how can we promote Port Glenone all in one. And that's maybe that has to start at roots level. It has to start with the businesses talking to each other and pulling together and creating something special. So why would you work with those partners? By working in collaboration, you'll be able to be able to do so much more. You can offer a more diverse experience. The visitors will stay longer because there's a range of things to do. So maybe you've captured someone and they have found out about 2 or 3 other things through you. So they'll stay in the region for longer. Or maybe somebody else who you've linked up with has captured the person, and they stay a bit longer. Of course, if they're going to stay longer, they'll spend more. If there's more to do, there'll be increased business revenue across the region. And they're more aware of what there is to offer, so they're more likely to come back again. There's also then, there's the increased profile for your business. So you're trading off their audience and they're trading off your audience, and it works really nicely, and it goes hand in hand. If you think about, you know, I think one of the best examples I have is the band U2. They teamed up with Apple and they threw their music onto every iPhone and iPod on the planet. Everybody took a hump, but the younger people suddenly found out who U2 were, and Apple became more popular with U2's audience. That collaboration is not because one of them is more famous or one of them has a better brand position than the other. What it was they needed each other's audience in order to grow, in order to build, and in order to reach new audiences. Of course, there's the opportunity to learn from your partners, you know, people who've been in the business a while, people who are new and have learned new things. And it's just a really lovely way of upskilling yourself. And of course, I truly believe that there's more media opportunities, because especially with the tourism organizations, they see that there's something different, something unique. And of course, we've said it before that the competition is with the other regions and not necessarily with your local businesses. So there's a little bit more about that, the product innovation booklet with Tourism NI. So that link is in the document. So let's get to the nitty gritty. What is it that we need to actually get into these offers? It's a lot of information. So some of the things that you need to consider is the who. Who is that target customer? Who are the market segments that you want to appeal to? Who can you work with to make that offer more appealing? And who do you want to appeal to that you haven't appealed to before? So you might want to break out of your current customer persona, or you might want to just nurture the one that you have. So looking at that target audience, what age bracket do they fall into, their level of education, their social media, what industry? Look at all of these different things that make your customers who they are, because by doing that, it can help you identify who should I partner with, who is it going to help me pull something together with. 1 second, because I think we've just got somebody who has joined. Did somebody get them in okay? Yes. Okay, sorry about that. And then we want to look at those tourism market segments. So that now, this is a very broad overview of the market segments. I absolutely recommend that you go and take a look at some of the documentation that Tourism Northern Ireland have available. But in Northern Ireland, our market segments are people who want time together. They're looking for romance, the nightlife, the walking, relaxation. They want some contemporary cultural experiences, and they want to see the natural scenery. That's how you will actually attract those people. Then you've got the mature cosmopolitans. They're a bit curious. You know, there's a real authenticity about them. They want to eat out. They want to enjoy the natural world and good quality food and drink and all of the nice things. They just want nice things. So if your offer can give them nice things, you're going to get them. And then you've got people like me who want the family fun. I have a 7-year-old, so of course I'm continually looking for new experiences, new things. What can we go and learn while having fun, and how can we make more memories? Where can we get lots of wonderful photos for his comic books and things like that? So. And of course, you're looking at family activities and accommodation. So if you're thinking about your local domestic market, those are the 3 sections that you want to kind of be trying to target. Ideally, if you have a business that it's possible to do this, I would try and create an offer in each of the segments, because you won't always sell every offer, but the offer will still put your business out there no matter what. So the Irish market segments, we've got the active maximizers. They're looking for something different. They want contemporary. They're looking for energetic stuff, cool stuff. Want spontaneous. You know, they want everything. They want deals. They want to know they're getting a good deal. They want to know it's good value, and they'll probably book everything online. And then you've got the ones who are open to ideas. They're kind of like, you know, we want to do something different, something good, something that's really unique, and we want adventure in our life. We want scenic, natural surroundings. But they also want value for money. But when it says deals and value for money, it doesn't mean cheap. It just means that they want to feel that what they've paid for has really enriched them in some way, shape, or form. And then you've got the open-minded explorers. So they're looking for more city breaks and cultural breaks and high-end hotels and things like that. But they're also looking for those unique things. They want to get talking to local people. They want to, you know, learn and discover what's going on. And that's where those wonderful, there's some fantastic things around Mid and East Antrim. We've just come off phase 1 of Storify. We're going on to phase 2 now. And wow, I live in Belfast, I've grown up in Belfast, and I didn't even know how many wonderful small tourism businesses were out there. And I think that's what people want. They want to discover what you've got, and they want to discover who you are. For the rest of the markets, I've kind of lumped them together a bit because we're not going to be dependent on them anytime soon. So you've got the social energizers. They're just looking for lots of things happening. You know, they want cool street art and comedy, and you know, they're probably likely to go to the cities. And then you've got the culturally curious. So they're looking for historic museums, castles, cathedrals, church, all of that kind of stuff. They're going to art galleries, and they really, you know, they're quite bohemian in what they're looking for. And then you've got the great escapers, who I think are just perfect for Mid and East Antrim, you know, going up Slemish, along the Gobbins, etc. You know, these are the type of people that want to really go and have a pint in a local pub and then go exploring after that. So think about how can you create the right offers that's going to capture these people, and how can you, what I would also do is I would try and work out from your current customer base where your current customer base sits. You might not know, and that might require some phone calls or a bit of a survey or whatever, but it's definitely worth checking out. So then you want to, we get to our what exactly is your offer going to be? And that's sometimes the difficult part, because the easy thing is to do, well, we'll knock 20% off and hope that works. So try and spend some time really thinking, what can you add value? One of the things that we do as a company, and it's just very random, when we're adding value, we sit down and we brainstorm and we say, what can we do that will help our client that won't cost us an awful lot? What skills do we have? What knowledge do we already have that we can impart, that we can give them? What products do we have sitting here that we can hand them? What resources and things like that? So when we're doing it, we sit down and we think, what have we already got access to? What's not going to take an awful lot of expense or an awful lot of time or energy to create? And then you want to look at what is your unique selling point. And if anyone says, I'm bespoke, or I'm tailored, or I'm really friendly, I think I might just cry, because those are not unique selling points. We expect good customer service. We expect it to be a bespoke service. Even if I go in to, you know, and purchase something from a factory production line, I am expecting to have got that in a bespoke way because I chose to buy it in my way. So think about, when you're thinking about your USP, really get to the bottom of that. What does your target audience want? Again, we're back to that research. We're talking again about getting to know our customers a bit better. And are you providing what they want with the offer, or did you just knock an offer out because you needed one? So looking a little bit further into a USP, a lot of people always ask me after these, which is why I now explain it. So a USP is a statement used in marketing, your products and services, to tell the audience what makes your offering different from the competitors and why it's a better choice. So when they have choice in front of them, your USP is going to be the thing that goes, that's why I want that one. And having that clear USP makes everything that you do stronger, and it allows you to clarify where you're going to go with these offers. And the great thing is that your USP could be the collaboration. Your USP could be the working together with other people. So questions for the chat room, because I am downloading them after. What do you think your USP is, and what experience can you offer your visitors so far? And we'll leave that in the chat for now. So other things to consider is the where. So be clear about where you are geographically and use that to formulate your offer. So you'll see in some of those examples, they were talking about being near somewhere or at the foot of or within walking distance, etc. You know, give people some background about that location and what other attractions are nearby. You know, if you're at the foot of Slemish, wow. If you're right beside the Goblins, amazing. If you're near Carnfunnock or wherever that might be, what you wanted is you want to make sure that you're letting people know that you are a gateway to these other bigger attractions or these, you know, the beautiful natural harbour and all of that kind of thing. And then maybe looking at where your partners are located. So do they have to go far? If you've partnered, we're not saying that you have to partner in order to create an offer. I just believe that it's one of the ways to create a really brilliant offer. So, you know, is there distance to go? And if there is, you know, say a couple of minutes away or something like that. Then you want to look at your when. So is your offer seasonal? Is it best suited to the daytime or the nighttime? Best suited to weekday or weekend? And are you encouraging people to book for a special occasion? Think about what are the reasons that they're going to be booking at that particular time. What's going on in their head? When do they book their Valentine's getaway or their Easter getaway or their Halloween getaway? When do they book these things? So think about that, because that's also going to determine when you release your offer and when you make your offer available as well. And the why. I am forever torturing my clients about the why. What are the features and benefits of your offer? So the features are what your product or service does, and the benefits are really how people feel and what they really do to solve the problem. So think about what those features and benefits are, because they will help you craft that offer as well. Why are you offering? So what is the whole point of you adding that little extra or doing that thing or sending them there or whatever? What is the motivation behind that? Just make sure that it's not because you're desperate for cash. If you're desperate for cash, then you really have to go in on a completely different marketing plan. You do need offers, you can do offers, but you do have to be very careful about setting a precedent that you can't come back from. How will people feel when they arrive or when they finish with that experience? And what is the experience and what memories will they leave with? So you really want to get to all of that wonderful information as to how I'm going to feel when I leave your B&B or when I leave your jewelry shop or the art studio. You know, what am I going to go away with, and why do I feel like that, and why did you want me to feel like that? It can all work really well for the background that you're going to do. One of the things that's really important, I feel, is making sure that when you're pulling together this information, especially the way that you are doing it with experiential tourism in mind, and of course I'm not going to come up with a term like that without telling you a little bit about it. For those who aren't familiar, experiential tourism is about connecting with people's feelings and emotions. So visitors they're wanting to satisfy these deep emotional needs now. It's their sense of adventure, their need for escape, they want to recharge, all of those things. And you'll see all of that reflected in the different market segments. They want these new sensations and they want experience, they want memories, they want, you know, they want to feel more. And so the question is, how is your offer going to fare up, you know, against these rich, deeper motivations? Is it going to do it? Or is it just like, it's coffee, it's a free coffee? You know, you want something more. Experiential tourism shows rather than describes. So the tourist wants to be an active participant in your experience. And we had a chat actually earlier, does this include people who sell products? absolutely. If you've ever had the pleasure of unboxing a Mac product, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. People value these visits because of the direct experience, and your offer needs to encourage people to participate in something. I'm not saying everybody needs to go out hiking or anything. It's just that they need to feel involved, that they're not a spectator in their getaway. And of course, there'll be lots of various levels of participation from people. You know, people who'll probably come along and they'll watch other people. There'll be other ones who kind of maybe get involved, and the other ones like me, straight in, all over it, loving every minute of it, whatever it might be. And then when you're creating the offer, what level do you fall into? So there's, are you a demand generator? So that's the big attractions, the activities and the events that kind of act as a primary motivator for the tourist to visit a destination. So if you think about Slemish Goblins, etc., would be those. The supporting experiences are the attractions, activities and events that are not the main motivator for people visiting, but you know, they become an added reason. And then the hidden gems, and I would probably say that a lot of you guys are in the hidden gem space, where these are the local secrets. These are the things that people really want to dig out. And sometimes those hidden gems can be the difference between someone going to Fermanagh as opposed to Derry, as opposed to, you know, Down. So it's those hidden gems that I believe can very often give people an extra motivation to go to your region over another one. And why is that important when you're creating the offers? You know, it's like, well, that's all very well and good, but you know, what's that got to do with the actual offer itself? By creating this unique offer, you can avoid being forced to reduce those fees in an attempt to compete. And that, I think, is where we all need to be. It's not about slashing the price. And then by articulating that experience, the visitor, you're helping paint a much better picture of why they should choose your offer over another offer. So if they're sitting there, they're scrolling through, you know, offer after offer, there has to be something that bounces out. There has to be something that grabs their attention. That thing that makes them go, wow, I need to do that one. That looks amazing. And then you want to consider the how. So this is all kind of the practical thing. How do people book? You know, you need to make that really obvious. Book here, go there, ring this number, because you won't believe the number of people who have come to us with things, and they says, oh, I keep putting this out there and no one cares and nobody's booking and no one's coming. We go, how do you book? And we eventually get to the website and we find that on the front page of the website where they have been sending people, it does not have the link for this particular offer. So just making sure that that journey that they're going to go on to find the information is very seamless and with the least number of clicks possible. Once there, how do they take part? You know, does your experience, does your offer involve them doing anything? If it involves them doing anything, try to be upfront about that, put a lovely positive spin on it, and make sure that that booking system is really easy to use, easy to navigate. You know, it doesn't have to be some sort of fancy marketing CRM system. It can be ring this number, as long as it is very simple and an easy process. And then think about all of those questions that they're going to ask you. Do you take a deposit? When do I have to pay the full amount? Can I buy a voucher for my other half, etc., etc.? There'll be hundreds of questions that will come as a result. And then we want to look at writing the offers. So what are you actually physically going to write there? I would be looking at things like, is there an occasion? So what's the hook that you're hanging the offer on? There doesn't have to be one, but they tend to be quite good. I did see, I did help with a content calendar last year with a tourism operator, and we literally planned out every single one of these, St. Patrick's Day and Mother's Day and spring and holiday, and we pulled at everything that we could think of, even ones that most people don't think of. We were like, yeah, we could do something with that. Let's think of something. So, you know, what is the occasion? If you can create an occasion, it helps people box it into a certain place. So people will go away for a reason. An anniversary, or Mother's Day or whatever, you know, try and help them box that information into where they need it to be. And then what are you offering? You know, you need to just be very clear. This is 2 nights in a luxury hotel at that, or this is a tour of X, Y, and Z, or this is a 3-hour, you know, immersive experience in how to make silver jewelry, or whatever that might be. So what you want to do is you want to be very, very clear on what it is that you're offering them, and make sure that anybody reading, you know, make sure that you can hand it to a 10 or 11-year-old and they'd understand it instantly. What's special about the location? We've already talked about that. What makes it unique? What are the strengths? What have you been recognized for? Where are you near? Add that in. You'll see from all of those offers that we had, people were continually saying where they were and where they were located. And the reason for that was because they knew that that is part of the reason that people will click to them. Why should your potential customer choose you? What problem can you solve? The value for money, again, is a really important one, because it's not about slashing the price. It's about making people feel that what they paid for is great value. And that's especially, I know from my point of view as a mum, I just want to know that my 7-year-old's not going to get bored. If you can guarantee me that, it's value for money in my eyes. And there's lots of other motivators like that for other people. So it might be, you know, they want to relax, or they want to do other things. And then how do they secure that offer? We've talked about it already. Make that journey so easy. But on the offer, I would make that the very last line. That's your call to action. That's you giving them direct information. If you want to do this, here's what you do. You know, there shouldn't be any ambiguity around that. And then, of course, you just pull all of that together into one statement. And we'll just take another quick look at some of those statements. Now that you can see the structure, you'll see how that structure has pulled together these. So what they are, where they are, what they're pulling together, what the offer actually is, etc., etc. And these are the ones that we've already seen. There's also a folder of some examples, and what I might do is I might add another load of examples as well. So things to remember when you're creating that offer then is be of value to the target audience. It's all about them feeling that they've got value, what gives them value, and then be targeted. So thinking about that right buyer persona at the right time, the market segments, all of that. Be aligned with your own marketing message. So do you have a marketing message of your own? Do you know kind of what your overall message to people is? And then keep in mind those overall marketing messages of the council, Tourism NI and Tourism Ireland. And if needs be, create separate offers for each of them to fit. And they will help you do that. A simple discussion with the right people, and they will help you brainstorm. They'll help to be able to give you some advice as to what works, what doesn't work, what might work. But at least they're there for you. The big thing that I think is really important is you have to actually promote the offer. I know that seems like it's really obvious, but some people kind of put it out into the world and just leave it there to germinate. But they don't water it, and they don't tell anybody that it's there. So do think about how are you going to promote it yourself. Think about that budget that you have, not only to create the offer, not only to execute it once people arrive, but then to promote it as well, and make sure that the money lines up. You know, you don't want to go OTT and creating and promoting this wonderful offer, then having 2 people come in 3 months' time, and suddenly, you know, you're hemorrhaging money out the door because you've been advertising left, right, and centre. Make a limit. Know what your limit of budget is, and the limit to the offer as well is really important. So if you're only going to do it on the weekend, don't stray from that. Have a deadline in place and have really strict terms and conditions. And what you can do is you can just basically say terms and conditions are on the website, and make sure that anyone who books or anyone who wants to book understands that that's where they get the information. Or you can send the terms and conditions linked out to them when you're confirming the booking. If you're promoting a product, think about the experience that the customer will get. How will you package it? How will it arrive with them, or will they take it away? And again, we talked about that out of box experience. You know, what is that experience of, you know, because what you don't want them coming along and getting this wonderful, beautiful piece of beautiful craftsmanship. And you don't want them getting it in, like, you know, a Jiffy bag or something, or a plastic bag, because it kind of takes away from that artisanal, you know, magic. You know, you want that even if it's just a beautiful piece of tissue paper and a sticker on top, no matter what that is, think of what that experience is. So experiential marketing isn't just for attractions and accommodation and food and drink and that. It's for anyone who is engaging with visitors of any kind. And ask yourself, how are you going to measure the success? You know, what metrics are you going to use to measure it? You know, how will you track the purchases back to the sales channel? One way that we use a thing called Bitly, where we create special links, and those links will tell us where the people came from. So for example, when we are creating our webinars, we will have a special Bitly link that is just for the Facebook event page. We'll have one that's just for the press release. We'll have one that's just for, and what that allows us to do is really track where the success is. And it then allows us to go, right, that channel is working. Let's apply a little bit of money into it, or let's apply a little bit more effort into it. And then what are you going to ask those customers when they book or when they leave? You know, what data are you going to get from them that's going to help you develop? And then what are the key performance indicators? You know, what are the things that will tell you that it's successful or not successful? Because that's just as important. What were your expectations to begin with? Were they realistic? Did you, you know, when you were creating it, did you think that as soon as I build it, they will come, you know, or were you in a situation where you knew, you know what, this is a gamble. I don't know if anybody's going to take this up, but hell, it's gonna give me some really good PR. It's gonna give me an opportunity to tell people that I exist. And what are the other businesses like yours achieving? You know, have a look and see what those similar businesses or competitor businesses are doing, and ask yourself, is there a reason that they're not doing what you're doing? I always say this, think about the photos that you're going to use. The number, like we have a thing on one of our websites, BAM magazine, and we have a meet the entrepreneur, meet the artist, and meet the blogger, and it asks you lots of questions and asks you to upload some photos. And the idea is you're going to feature in the magazine. There's no cost to it. You just put your information in, and the number of times we've had to email people back and go, can we have some photos? Or can we have a photo that's not a screenshot of a photo that's on your phone? So think about, how are you going to visually show this offer? How are you going to visually depict it? Sometimes a picture of the front of the hotel is enough. I'm not convinced. I think that, you know, if you put a little bit of effort into it, you can actually create wonderful photography that is going to attract people. It doesn't necessarily have to be done with a professional photographer, just a little bit of tenacity and a Saturday afternoon. And maybe sometimes a 15-year-old can always help with these things, I always find. So really do think about the photos. We spend an awful lot of time talking about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, what it's going to look like, what it's going to, you know, but if people can't visually depict it, it's going to be very difficult to sell. So questions for the chat room. What's the biggest challenge when coming up with offers and promotions for your business, and why is that? There is reason behind the questions. So some top tips, we'll rattle through a load of these. We should be okay for time. So to upload, don't forget to upload the offer to your own website before you send it elsewhere. The number of times that people have created maybe a shop item so that people can purchase the offer, but they haven't actually created an area on the website where people can read more about it. So do make sure that you do that. You need to have a clear how to book. Oh, I've said it again 1,000 times. Make it easy for people to book. Have a really good quality image. Again, I can't stress it enough. It can be the make or break of whether or not your offer gets sent by Discover NI to the media. So every week now, it has stopped during COVID, but every week as a journalist, I was receiving an email called Offers of the Week. And it normally had between 4 and 6 different offers from around Northern Ireland. And they were all taken from the pool of offers that were put in. But the one thing about them, they all had a half decent picture. So you can be sure that when the person was deciding which one of the offers to choose, they were probably going, right, well, that's got a good picture and it's a decent offer. Let's put that one out. Make sure that the validity dates are included, that you've got a closing date, an expiry date, that you've got your terms and conditions, all of those things. They're all things that can trip us up. You know, if you don't have when it expires and stuff like that, and you end up with somebody coming 2 years later looking for a package you can't deliver anymore, it has happened. So do make sure that you cover off all of those things. And think about the practicals. You know, how will they book the experience? If it's by phone, does that work with the target audience? Does that work with the market segment that you're aiming? You know, and if not, then maybe you need to start thinking about, well, how else can I create the ability for people to book with me? Will you require the deposit? Can they pay in full? What's the refund policy? How are you going to handle those compliments and complaints? Who's going to manage it? You know, when you get questions, can people buy vouchers and gifts? Do you have your prices in euro for the ROI and the Europe market? And have you linked to other sites, whether it's TripAdvisor and Groupon and that? One thing I need to say about Groupon is that creating an offer on Groupon isn't about just, you know, knocking loads and loads of money off it. It might be that what you do is, you know, you put something on that looks like it's got a really good offer, but it's just the same as what you would normally do. I would steer clear of things like Groupon and voucher and things like that if you're trying to set yourself at a certain place in terms of how you want people to see, because you don't want to get it. You don't want to be in that point where people will only book you through Groupon or only book you through voucher and stuff like that. It can actually end up being really detrimental. I've had 2 restaurant clients in about 3 years who have gone under as a result of Groupon bookings. It went nuts. They didn't realize it was going to go nuts. Then it got busy, came into the busy season, and suddenly people were starting to redeem the vouchers that were maybe 2 for 1 and stuff like that. So do think really carefully about that. So then we want to look at promoting the offer. You want to make sure that you capture the attention. So really you want to attract the reader's attention and pique their curiosity enough to read further. We've talked about that already. You want to generate that interest, move them from curiosity to real interest. That sounds a little bit like us moving them through the customer journey, I think you'll find. And then you want to develop this desire for the product or experience, and then you want that call to action so that when they've made that decision, that they can move with you. This is some stuff from Tourism NI. There is an absolute mine of content to help you, and lots of tips and things like that. And these are 2 lovely graphics that give you some ideas of ways to promote and channels to promote on. I have linked this in the document, so we don't need to go over the whole thing now. This is it, promoting experiences. It's a lovely wee document. I printed it out, and it has some really cool stuff in there. Okay, and then engaging with the council, really important. Zoe's on the call. She's your tourism business engagement officer, and I am telling you, there is nothing Zoe does not know about the Mid and East Antrim area. If there's anyone you want to brainstorm an offer with, I promise you it's Zoe. Sorry, Zoe. But that's what the council are there for. That's what their job is. Their job is to help you. The job is to, and as Mark said, there's lots of resources there and lots of people there. Don't be afraid, even if you've got nothing, even if you've got absolutely zero, give them a ring anyway and let them help you, you know, handhold you through that process. You can engage with Tourism NI. Again, all of these links will be in the document. And they have this wonderful area on their website, which is absolutely jammed with toolkits and resources and info packs and to-do lists, and really I would, if it was me, if I had a tourism business, I would commit myself to reading one thing from that website every day for a month. Because believe you me, what the information that you can garner for that is going to take your business to the next level. Oh, I've just clicked you out there, sorry. What's wrong with it? Ah, there we are. And then the same with Tourism Ireland. Again, Tourism Ireland has plenty of industry opportunities, lots and lots of resources there. But where I would start, if it was me, I would start with the council, and I would use the council to give me the advice and the information to move to Discover NI, and then I would move to Tourism Ireland, because it just seems like a natural progression for me. It was mentioned earlier by Mark, use tags and hashtags when you're promoting your content yourself, when you're sharing, especially when you're sharing on social media. So tag Mid and East Antrim Council, Discover NI, Tourism Ireland, Shaped by Sea and Stone, and then you want to use the hashtags as well. What you want to do is you want to start literally waving at all of these people who are charged with promoting this country in some way, shape or form. You want to be standing there waving at them at all times, so that when they need something like yours, they will actually give you the call. And the only way that they're ever going to know that you're there is if you keep waving at them and keep putting yourself in their path and keep stepping in front of them and submitting your offers and submitting your information. And really, don't underestimate the power of social media. It's easy for people like me to say that. I work in the industry, I use it on a daily basis. But one thing, and I'm really going to fly through these slides, they're only here for information purposes, but think about the number of different social platforms that you could be promoting on. Facebook, still the largest and most prominent social media platform, user base approaching 3 billion. It's still very much a jack of all trades. It's still really, really good for advertising and choosing your demographic. Twitter is very much a broadcasting tool. It's about joining conversations, getting involved in campaigns. It's over 330 million active users at any time. So again, and its hashtag system will allow you to start looking at how can you capture that audience that you need. Instagram, if you have amazing photography, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be on Instagram. Also look at things like the weekend hashtag project with Instagram. It's a way of potentially being highlighted by Instagram itself. What I would say is do look closer to home as well for content. You've got the NI Explorer, for example, who regularly do features on local businesses and things like that. So do look at it and see where the opportunities lie. LinkedIn, don't underestimate LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the place of professionals. That is not to say that professionals don't have some form of a real life behind the scenes. What is great about LinkedIn is you have the opportunity to advertise directly to people who are willing to spend the money. The demographics of LinkedIn are still very much middle, higher and upper management. So do think about at least having a presence on there, even if you're not spending a lot of time. TikTok, you know, I'd like to say that I know how to use it. I don't, I'm just a voyeur. I spend hours and hours and hours every week on it, but that is proof of how long people are spent. I'm 42, so I'm not a 15-year-old doing mad dances. I am a mature social media user, and I do watch TikTok a lot. So if you have that ability, if you've got little videos, if you at least have some presence on there, so if the people go looking for you, they'll find you. Nextdoor, I don't know if you guys know about the Nextdoor app. Nextdoor is fantastic for getting in with your very local community. And when I say local community, it's literally the people within a few miles radius of you. And there are advertising opportunities on there as well. I haven't used the advertising opportunities myself, but I have heard some really good reports. Definitely worth taking a look. Snapchat, it's very much still a younger person's platform. Don't bother with it unless you're really trying to attract that very young audience. Pinterest is a wonderful space to add content and leave it there. Really nice evergreen. I wouldn't be putting sort of all of your offers and things, but maybe some of those evergreen offers. The one thing about Pinterest is globally, it does convert really, really well, and it converts really well with the baby boomers, that the older generation, because they love just, you know, going on and exploring everything. YouTube, if you're a video, if you love your video, if you've maybe engaged with the council, for example, on maybe the Storify program, you can get your videos added to YouTube and it gives you a presence there. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. It is worth finding out whether or not you can access it in some way, shape or form. Tumblr, okay, we're starting to get to the point where, are these really social networks? What you find is if you've got a WordPress website, you can automatically share your blogs to Tumblr. That's what we do. We don't do very much more than that. But it's if you love social media, if you like getting into it, then it's worth taking a wee look at some of these. Reddit, again, the same. It's all about writing. It's about current affairs and keeping in with trends and things like that. And then WhatsApp is now, it's growing quite quickly. The ability to advertise on it is getting better. Certainly when you are creating ads on Facebook, you're creating them to go on Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp. So definitely worth checking that out as well. There's also WhatsApp for Business systems where you can actually make it so that people can contact you via WhatsApp, and it's all GDPR compliant if you do it through their business thing. Very, very quickly about paid versus organic traffic on social media. So HubSpot describe it, you can gauge the main difference between organic and paid by their respective names. Post organic social media is free. It's just going to reach your followers and the people who they choose to share it with. Paid, you can force that to people who you don't know. Smart Insights say organic is using free tools provided by each social network to build a community and interact, sharing and responding. And paid is just paying for those adverts to push it in front of people. So the pros for organic is that it's more cost effective. We can sit in the sofa on a Saturday afternoon when the kids are going bonkers and, you know, do our sharing and things like that. It allows you to directly engage and assist your customers, and it can help you establish a brand identity. The cons are that it can be time consuming. The algorithms, that's the code behind the scenes, they're very volatile. They're difficult to understand. By the time you understand the trends change and the algorithms change. Don't try to understand them, just try to act naturally. It's, you know, it offers less flexibility when it comes to the reach that you're going to get. With the paid, you can target specific people to expand your reach. So what's happening at the moment with most people who don't advertise on social media is they're only advertising, or they're only putting the content out to that little group that Mark Zuckerberg, for example, has decided that you can talk to. It's very hard to come outside that group. And that's where the paid traffic comes in. It helps you expand that reach. It helps you burst out of that bubble. It's a payment model that works for any budget. You can do £5 a week, £5 a day, or £500, and you can see more immediate results. So you can tailor those campaigns, and then very quickly you can go, that's not working, that's not happening, that's, you know, or that one does, let's put more money into that, let's do another ad like that. So it's really good that way. The cons are that you might not see meaningful returns on the investment. It is a risk, and you do have to test a lot. What I find is that people who have had the capacity to test it have done better because they had that cash flow to test. So it's a difficult one. It's one I don't like to be swimming around in, because it's, you know, you have to be good at writing the copy. You have to be good at getting the right picture, getting the right offer. You have to be good at the targeting, all of that. So it may be something that you at some point in the future want to consider speaking to an agency who do that, because that little bit of money that you're going to outlay at the beginning to get it all set up will probably be worth it in the end. You might face a competitive landscape depending on what it is that you do, and it does require a lot of attention. You can't set an ad up and just let it do its own thing. You've got to keep an eye on it, and you've got to keep monitoring it on a regular basis. So the other things that you can do is you can use Google My Business. So I hope that everybody in the call has actually claimed their Google My Business listing. Please do. You can also post. So you can create offers on Google My Business. You can create posts. You can add new photos. What happens is your photos then become part of Google Maps. People can see them. So definitely do upload as much as you can to Google My Business. I haven't used it, but Bing Places is similar. What I would say is, and this is the last stat I remember, Bing is only about 4% of the search users. However, 4% of the whole internet is a hell of a lot of people. So don't discount Bing, just don't spend your whole life on it. So did you know 85% of Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland and Great Britain's key market segments use the internet to book all or some elements of their holiday? That's 85%. That's massive. So if you're not getting these offers out there, if those offers aren't sitting on, you know, in the platform in which these people are working and living in and searching in, then you are missing out. The other thing you want to look at is let's not forget the story behind the brand. It's really important that the story comes through in those offers. And you want to think about, you know, take the visitors and the customers on a journey of discovery with you. You know, tell them the story of the business, make it easy for them to get to know you and why you do what you do. That's what they want. They want that personal touch. And don't be afraid to talk about you and your story and why you're doing what you're doing and the world around you, all of those things. It's everything that they want from it. So the links from the presentation and links to the resources are here. This is the, it was also shared in the chat. It includes a couple of resources: creating an offer, how to write about the business, finding your USP, and some sample offers. I'll maybe add some more of those to it. And that's it. Now, what I do have is I have a chunk of slides to come after questions, just some ideas of how you can get ideas, places where you can find ideas. So we'll fly through basically what happens when I do things like this is everybody goes, well, where am I going to get these ideas from? And it happens every single time. So I thought I'd just answer those questions really quickly. So guess what? Google is your friend. And I don't mean that to be patronizing, but literally go and see what other people are doing. It's just the quickest way. Interestingly, Google searches are the most important data set ever collected on the human psyche, and that comes from a former Google data scientist. So don't discount how important Google can be in your research. And guess what? We have a blog that's going to help you with that. 15 free Google products worth getting to grips with by the lovely Chloe. Do check that out. We'll get I think the links in there. Google Alerts is a really, really interesting one. I discovered Google Alerts back in the depths of my showbiz days, and this is actually an inbox that's still alive today, that still collects the same data. Basically, Google Alerts allows you to gather data from the internet without having to go looking for it yourself. You decide what you want to look for. So for example, you might want to look for Slemish Mountain, you might want to look for Mid and East Antrim, you might want to look for a specific hashtag, or you might just want to put your own business in there. Or if, for example, you do fishing, you might want to do fishing Northern Ireland or something like that. And what it's going to do is it's going to alert you every time something hits the Google search that is relevant to that. I put it in quotation marks, and that groups the information together so that you're not getting everything about Van and everything about Morrison. You put them together and you'll get that. So you can do things that you can put a plus. So you could put Slemish Mountain in quotation marks plus fish, or whatever, you know, whatever those search terms might be. It's definitely worth it. I mean, it saved my life on so many occasions when I was trying to create content, and now we do it for every client. My big tip is have a completely separate inbox for it. Do not have it coming into your main inbox. It will ruin your life. I've been there. Trust me. Google Trends is an amazing, and it's just an amazing tool for being able to see what other people are searching for, what they're looking for, what terms they're looking, and it can help you think ahead of, well, this has become quite trendy, I could do an offer around this, or whatever that might be. Getting into more, I suppose, the higher level Google stuff, the data set search is just about getting research information. It might be though that you want to get some research on the price of silver, because you know you're a silversmith or something like that. So do think about learning a little bit about that. Data Studio is roughly the same. There is absolutely ridiculous amount of data in there that you can use, but you know, things like being able to say X number of people love eating, you know, trout, or whatever that might be. You know, it's about just working out kind of what you can put in there. For example, Adrian could be looking at what, you know, the history interests are, what people, you know, what reports are being created on traveling, you know, for genealogy, those kinds of things. So definitely, if you love doing that kind of thing, Dataset and Data Studio is where you should be. And for the rest of us who are not really into the nitty gritty, then the Google Auto Suggest. So if you're putting in photography, it's going to come up very quickly and tell you what most people are searching for, and it gives you a bit of an idea. Quora is a question and answer site. So for example, if you are providing luxury chocolate, you could go on and see what kind of things people are asking about in the food and drink space. As you can see, mine's all about SEO and digital marketing and all of that kind of thing. Answer the Public is a wonderful resource. As it says here, it is an untapped gold mine of content ideas. It, again, you pump in some data and it will literally spit out everything that people are asking about, everything that people are searching for. And when you get those search terms right, you can really utilize it. I do believe Answer the Public is mostly paid for. Daysoftheyear.com, one of our favorite here in the office. If you want to plan ahead, now we know the obvious ones, the Valentine's Day and the Easters and all of that, but what you might find is you have a rockin' cheesecake, and in January there might be a cheesecake day, and so suddenly you can build an offer around that. There'll be, when you go on to Days of the Year, it'll give you a little bit of background about why the day was created. It'll give you the hashtags and stuff like that. You don't have to be utilizing it for the purpose in which it was created. Again, you'll remember we talked about how you can jump on and hijack hashtags, and this is an amazing way of doing that. Yahoo Answers, very similar to Quora and stuff like that. You're just finding out what people are asking, why they're asking it, and if you go into food and drink or tourism or something like that, you might find things that will spark ideas in your head. Espionage, again, is for the geeks. You know, you can find out what your competitors are up to. It uncovers, I suppose, you know, where you can get those leads for. If I were you, I would be utilizing something like espionage at a later date when you're a little bit further down the marketing line. BuzzSumo, again, it's another tool for being able to discover content ideas. And when I'm saying content ideas, being able to create content ideas helps create the content, it helps create those offers, helps create what those interest sets might be. And it also might help you to understand a little bit more about those market segments and those customer avatars that you have. Bing is exactly the same as Google, has its own auto suggest. I have tested it and very often they come up with different lists. So it's definitely worth taking a look. Yahoo is exactly the same. Again, has different lists as well. Very quickly, there is a document that we're going to share with you, the 5 A's of destination marketing. It's very much on a higher level, but there's some really nice ideas throughout it, and I think that it's definitely worth taking a look at. So number one, think about the access. How easy can visitors get to your place? Think about the infrastructure. Think about, can you cater to visitors with disability? The ease of access. So for example, if you're on a farm and there's a bit of a rocky road to get to it, you want to maybe tell people that. Accommodation, so do they need or want to stay over? Can they stay with you? Where do they stay? Can you offer it? If not, can you partner with someone else who can offer it? Attraction. So some of the ways that this particular article broke them down was the natural wonders, the man-made attractions, cultural historical attractions, and the special events. So again, helping you just have a look at what some of the people are interested in. The activities, what are they actually going to do? We've already talked about that. What experiences are they going to walk away with? What are they sharing with family and friends back home? What emotions are they going to have, and how will it shape their overall perception? And then the amenities, you know, what basic facilities and services do you have that just makes them feel comfortable? Things like Wi-Fi. I don't go anywhere without Wi-Fi, even though I've got pretty much unlimited 4G. I'm a bit of a miser. I still want the Wi-Fi. So do think about all of those things that are that's a decision breaker for me. If there's no Wi-Fi or if there's no signal, I'm out, and that's just simply because I'm a workaholic and I love the internet. But so think about those kind of things as well. And with that said, that's me absolutely definitely done now.